Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Becca's World. Happy 2025. This is our first episode for the new year. And here is our host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here for this first episode of 2025 of The Blind View, and our first episode on Wednesday nights because we just switched to Wednesday nights. So thank you guys so much for being subscribed so you get notified when we go live, and thank you for joining us. And we're waiting for another member to join us, but Gina will let him in when he comes in. How are you, Anya?
I am doing great. Thanks for asking. And happy to be here. Happy 2025 to everyone. Hope everyone had a great New Year's celebration with lots of fireworks and champagne and whatever else you guys like to do on that festive day. And hope everybody's back to work and to studies or whatever is on your plate to do. So, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get started and Brandon will just join us later. So I wanted to talk about these crazy wildfires in California. What?
Yeah, tell us what you know so far. I mean, it's been on the news. It's been a hot topic of the day, but
Yeah, they're really out of control, and it sounds like I've been watching reports about how firefighters are not able to put fire on the fire because some of the fire hydrants are literally empty.
yeah,
and
that's what
and
I
they're
heard.
yeah, and they're having a lot of crazy, ridiculous shit like that go on. And then I saw a report that said Gavin Newsom refused to sign the I think it's called the Water Restoration Declaration, which would
Mm-hmm.
have helped prevent this, you know. Um, and and so it really irritates me that here's another like blood on the hands of another Democratic governor.
I mean, this state is so largely mismanaged. It is just a shame. It's just a big shame.
Yeah.
In every way possible, they mismanage it.
Hmm.
And I
But
heard that so the mayor of LA
um,
was on vacation in Ghana or something while all of
yeah,
this was happening. Like,
yeah,
hello.
yeah, yeah, and the poor citizens of LA County where the fire is burning out of control. It's just ridiculous. Now, I have a lot of experience with wildfires, right? Like I come from Montana. I spent the first 38 years of my life in Montana. And in Montana, we historically have like huge wildland fires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, I lived in Missoula, Montana for many years, and in 2000, we had such bad wildland fires in Montana that there was ash falling from the air or falling from the sky in Missoula Valley. The valley filled up with smoke, and there were fires burning all over Montana and surrounding states. And there was a group of firefighters that I remember they got trapped between two walls of fire, and I they survived from what I remember, but I remember it was really scary because they didn't think they were going to be able to get them out because of they had two walls of fire coming at them. They were being closed in. And then another thing, like when I lived in Montana, my best friend, her husband he was on the wildland firefighting crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so Joe always went out with the fire crews, and I heard a lot from my friend about it, right? Because Joe
Mm-hmm.
and his dad were both like on the fire crews, the wildland fire crews. And another thing, so not only did Joe fight the fires, but also when that space shuttle um fell out of the sky and landed in Texas, I believe it was. Like
Uh-huh.
Joe and a bunch of the crew from the Montana Wildland Fire Crew were some of the people that went down to Texas to sift through the rubble, of the space shuttle and try to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, go through it and stuff. So just hold
Hey,
on,
Beck, by the way, Brandon is joined us. And Brandon, just to catch you up, Becca and Anya were talking about the wildfires going on in LA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was just trying to wait for a break in the conversation. I didn't want to butt in obtrusively and be rude. Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Hi. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for joining us.
Mm.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And if I can just take this opportunity to weigh in, I think, well, okay, I'm trying to think of how to best address all the audiences that we may be speaking with right now. I'll give you the PG-13 edition. Okay, I think that the California, specifically the Los Angeles wildfire situation, is absolute and total bureaucratic bullcrap. I think it is absolutely, it demonstrates absolute malfeasance and mismanagement. And because I feel like what is predictable is preventable. Right.
Mhm.
And I mean, from what it sounds like to me, they knew that there was all that brush over there, and after all, these are sighted people, right? So they could clearly see it every
Excuse
day
me for
when
a second.
they work, when they came back from work, when they were driving around.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Oh, yeah, definitely a bunch of poor management all the way around in California.
And then not only that, but you probably heard that the fire hydrants are out of water.
I know, isn't that ridiculous? I couldn't believe that.
Because of the reservoirs were low. I mean, how do you let that happen? I mean, I it's just utter malfeasance and mismanagement. I just it's almost unbelievable, and yet I can't use the word unbelievable because we've seen images and we've heard people describe it as being like driving through hell.
Yeah.
And
welcome to democratic utopia.
Have you guys heard this?
Trump won the election.
Have you heard that insurance companies out there in that general area at least have stopped covering fire? The insurance companies,
that's terrible.
Absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely disdainful.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The whole thing.
It is. They are worthy of ridicule. Literally.
Oh,
it is ridiculous. It is.
And it's such a shocking example of the end result of this democratic bullshit. Excuse my French.
Well, see, I didn't want to say. I don't know. I hope I don't want to make the YouTube algorithms angry. But yeah, it is. I agree with you. I mean, can you imagine? If it were, one of our moms or our dads or our family members or our friends out there, and the windows are getting blown out of their house because of the heat and the wind, and the insurance company, they've lived in that house, say 20, 30, 50 years, and the insurance company just says, no, sorry, we don't cover that.
Yeah, and imagine the smell.
Fire.
Imagine all the smoke that you have to inhale. It's just horrible.
But you know what, you guys, it doesn't seem right that an insurance company should be able to just willy-nilly decide that, we're not covering fire damage anymore, right in the middle of a big wildland firefighter that's taking out a bunch of houses they cover. I don't think they can legally do that. So I bet the residents whose insurance companies do that to them, I bet they'll have a legal fight they can fight, to get it right.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I don't really know how it's handled. I mean, obviously in higher risk areas, the price is probably a lot higher, most definitely. But I mean, if this happens so often and so damaging, I just don't know how they go about it in terms of coverage.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, I just think, in California, they know that it rains out there sometimes. They know that it storms out there sometimes. Depending on the kind of storm, lightning does strike. Lightning can be seen. I mean, that should tell you, like, maybe we should do something about all that brush that we've left there for 30 and 40 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they definitely made their bed and now they're lying in it. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, the residents and business owners are.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and I hear the governor or whatever is out on vacation, coming back though. I mean, in their limited defense, coming back, and I wouldn't want to be them right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just thank God every day I don't live in California.
I used to live in California, and I'll tell you, we left in 2016, and it was getting crazy even then. Even then.
But
Yeah.
here is something interesting, you guys. I don't know. We're gonna have to observe what's gonna happen. But somebody pointed out about the FEMA and how they address these issues. California versus was it South Carolina? So we know that they were kind of withholding help from the Trump supporters. You know
in,
that old
in
story.
North Carolina. Yeah.
Absolutely.
North Carolina, excuse me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Gavin Newsom of California, he was saying somewhere that he has already been in contact with the federal government, with FEMA, and he already received 2 aid packages, like so fast. I mean, I don't know. Like we'll see, and we'll compare how they were helping. On what scale. They were helping people who likely to vote for Trump and people who are likely to vote for Democrats in California. So because they seem to be moving way faster to help the, and again, don't get me wrong, I want everybody to be helped. I mean, just because they're delusional, they're still people. You want them to live and stuff, but still, just how politically they use this situation and promoting one side over the other.
Well, and I don't think that at this point it's been mentioned, but I mean, I'm speaking about Los Angeles, but Hawaii, last year, there were some really fishy things with those fires over there in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, in Maui.
Kind of funny that some things burned, but other things didn't burn that were immediately adjacent to the things that burned. There was kind of some weird anomalies there.
Yeah, I really hope that there's no weird anomalies with the fires in California. I mean, I agree with you about Maui. I really do.
Well, and we've been hearing about these drones and these plasma thing,
Oh yeah, what were you gonna say, Anya?
Oh, I was gonna say, we still don't know the cause of those fires. I mean, a lot of those causes could be natural. I also heard that it could be because of the homeless encampments there. Maybe it's not the sole reason, but I'm not doubtful that this could be a contributing factor for sure.
Well, I believe isn't California a sanctuary state? Didn't they invite everybody in? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I heard that they might have used directed energy weapons to control the fires in Maui. And they also used technology to manipulate the hurricanes of such recent devastating memory. So there's some weird things going on. And then these drones, and nobody knows where they're from, who's piloting them, why they're around. Nobody's saying.
Have you guys heard anything new on the drones?
No, I have not at all.
No, I mean, I think it kind of, from the news media went away, but
they're still out there. People should still be talking about them and investigating them, I would think.
Well, I agree, and I think the same thing is true for the hurricane victims. Just because it's not on the news every night now, I guarantee you, there's still people suffering.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I just can't. I mean, who would think, right? Who would the fire hydrants are out?
I know that just is shocking. Like the level of ineptitude to let the fire hydrants run dry.
In such high risk state. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
If I was the citizen, if I lived in California, if I was a taxpayer in California, I'd be really pissed off. I would turn around and sue the state government for failing to prevent this and for actually making conditions perfect for it to happen,
Yeah, I'm sure a lot
Yeah.
of people in California feel this way, but I mean, the government and the judicial system there is so corrupt and so one-sided. So I don't think people have much chance there.
Yeah.
Although I heard in Oakland, California, they recalled a super woke and diverse mayor.
Oh yeah, I saw
So,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. Even super woke California, like Oakland is majority Democrat, but even they got
Mhm.
sick of crime,
Yeah.
uncontrolled crime rate, and they just
Yeah.
recalled.
It's
Yeah.
funny you mentioned that because Oakland, even when I was there, Oakland was a dangerous city. I mean, so dangerous that if you were riding a bicycle,
Uh huh.
and you just slow down or you stop to take a look at something, somebody might knock you off your bike and steal your bike. I mean, it was a dangerous city.
Where did you
Wow.
live in California, Brandon?
I lived in Vallejo, so just across from the San Francisco Bay.
Oh,
We literally could look out our back windows and see the bay, and we took the ferry from there over to the bay, and that was kind of cool.
oh
Oh,
yeah.
sounds fun.
It does sound fun. Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, I
did
lived
you
in Vallejo and I worked over at Travis Air Force Base. So
did you ever tour Alcatraz?
no, I never did. I did go to the Golden Gate Bridge though. I did do that.
I toured Alcatraz when I was a junior in high school.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was amazing. I'd been blind for like 5 years at that time. And I'd found very few things that I could participate in on an even level with my peers, right? But when my family and I went to Alcatraz, like they gave us headsets to wear while we were touring the prison. And while we were wearing the headsets, we were hearing stories that were told by guards that had worked there over the years in their own voices, and talking about specific prisoners like Al Capone and shit like that who were there, and talking about, prison escapes and all kinds of stuff. And I found it so, I really enjoyed it as a blind person. Like I said, I'd been blind for like 5 years at that point, and my life really sucked. And my family and I actually went to San Francisco to see a doctor about getting my vision fixed. That's what the trip was for. And we toured Alcatraz while we were in San Francisco. And like I said, I really enjoyed the experience as a blind woman as a blind little girl at the time. But like I said, they give you these headsets and you can really like participate in the tour and get a lot out of it, even as a blind person, because of that. And I found it very fascinating. I'd like to go back and tour Alcatraz again someday.
Well, I think it does have an interesting history.
Mhm.
I think it's an example of one of the greatest incarceration facilities ever built. And they they actually tried to build it so that even if you did escape, your chances of returning to civilized society were minimal.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
that's
like
back when we used to actually punish criminals. Remember that? I do. You
oh
do.
yeah, like it was hard for
Yeah.
them to escape. Like they
Imagine
had
we
to
used
have
to punish
help.
criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been. It'll be interesting to go sometime.
In California now, isn't it legal to steal $999,000 worth of stuff? Or, not
$999.
9,000.
Nine
Yeah,
nine hundred nine.
9,999. Yeah.
I thought it's only up to $1,000 that they can steal.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
what
I
you
don't
know.
know,
say.
like
999.
999.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I thought it was
999.
just under 10,000. If it's 10,000 or
No,
more,
No, I
I
think
think
it's
it's
900.
1,000.
is
It's
Yeah,
it
but
1,000
900?
or more. It's
yeah,
1,000. So
Yeah.
like they can steal up to $999 and not be prosecuted.
But either way, I mean, imagine that all three of us just went. I mean, imagine how
Well,
damaging the
I've
business
been
is.
Hmm?
Yeah, and I've been thinking, if I was a criminal, I'd move to California. Imagine when they did that. I bet there's a lot of criminals that moved to California to take advantage of that,
Oh yeah. I mean, I heard that since Trump got elected, I heard that they reduced that amount to a lower number. I don't remember what it is, but it's kind of pathetic. Like, okay, now it's not 900; it's gonna be 500.
Well, now that okay. I mean, I guess that I don't know.
I don't support that at all. I mean, come on, like it has to be zero. Like if you stole
Right.
for $1, it's still a steal.
Yeah,
It's still
yeah.
immoral act.
Ladies
Okay.
and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back. Hi, it's me, Rebecca S. Meadows, the author, with my new book, Living on Borrowed Time, The Ravings of an Angry Survivor of Traumatic Brain Injury and Guardianship Abuse. It's available on Kindle Digital Download, Amazon Print on Demand, and on Audible. Please go check it out. And now, back to the show.
And we're back.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying with us.
Mm.
Do you guys want to talk some more about what's going on in California, or do you guys want to move on?
We can move on in a second, but I just wanted to say you mentioned Alcatraz and how you toured it and everything, but how they built it very smartly, so no escape. But it reminds me of the gulags. I think everybody heard of the gulag archipelago. Yeah, that
What
was that
about
was
him?
even worse.
Can you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, tell us about
gosh.
the gulag.
Were they really bad? Were they hard to get out of?
Oh, absolutely. There's no freaking way you could get out of it alive. I mean,
There's no
yeah.
freaking-
What did the gulag look like?
It was an archipelago. It was like a network of, if you can, like a chain of islands in the middle of nowhere. Like it's I can't remember what was the sea. I can't remember how to say it in English. Anyway, so it's a very cold waters, and the ship would come there only twice a year to bring prisoners. Yeah, and there are so many books about it, even in English. So if anybody's interested, I can.
What is it called again?
The Gulag Archipelago.
Okay,
But
There's a whole.
it also was by water. I didn't even know that, but it also was by a very cold
Yes.
sea or something. Huh.
Uh-huh. So those
sounds
were the,
fascinating.
and in Siberia, like very deep, like there's nowhere you could go. There's nothing for miles and miles and miles except for the taiga, which is like a deep woods, like cold. Yeah, so that would make me think of.
Wow.
Speaking of the taiga, do you guys like to read? Like, so Louis L'Amour wrote a book called Last of the Breed. Have either of you read it?
No. What's it about?
Oh, it's like when you mentioned the taiga, it reminded me of it because in the taiga, it's a survival thing if you live there. Well, Last of the Breed is about this American soldier who gets taken prisoner by the Russians, and he's held captive in Siberia for a long period of time, and he escapes, and it's about his survival. And how he gets through. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have read any of Louis L'Amour's stuff, but he writes in great detail, and it really brings the story to life.
Is it a fiction story or it's like
yes, it is a fiction story, and Louis L'Amour's been dead for a long time. I think he died in the 80s, right? But he's a really great author. His name is Louis L'Amour, and he's wrote several good books. But Last of the Breed is my favorite of his, and it's on Bard. Are you guys on Bard?
Yeah, I'm on Bard.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. So if you go up to Bard and search Louis L'Amour, and L'Amour is like, let's see, Lamour, I believe, because it's a French name. And so Last of the Breed is like my favorite book of his, but he also wrote tons of great books. Like he wrote this book called Ride the River, right? So he wrote this whole series called the Sackett series. And one of the books in the Sackett series is about Echo Sackett. She's a girl, right? And it's called Ride the River. And it's a great book too. I'm telling you guys, if you guys like to read, you should check out Louis L'Amour's books.
Sounds good. Oh. I have a whole list to read. I recently learned with Bard that if you don't download anything for half of the year, it they block you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I got an email. It says I can't remember how it was phrased, but basically that I would need to reactivate, like they deactivate you. And I'm like, what the hell? So I call, And I say, what's happened? And she looked up my account. She goes, oh, because you haven't downloaded anything for 6 months. And I was like, wow. I mean, I read, but I also spend a lot of time listening to podcasts and watching videos.
Yeah.
I do read some, and plus I read some stuff in Russian. I get some stuff from Bookshare too, and then it just slipped through the cracks, and I didn't really, pay attention.
I might have to go check mine too. I appreciate the information.
Well, you should have
Yeah.
gotten an email if they deactivated you.
Well, yeah,
I don't
but
check
the
my
thing is,
emails.
I have lots of different email addresses, and I don't always check them all either. So.
Yeah, but it's easy to reactivate. You can call them.
Yeah.
And
So speaking of Bard, so you guys know what a Victor Reader Trek is, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So I have my Trek. I've been listening to it for years, and I listen to Bard books on it mostly, right? And
Okay.
I've been having a problem with the last 24, 48 hours, and the cord is not connecting right. And so it's not charging. So I gotta, like, when my sister's going to be back next week, or I might have Gino help me with it. I just got to figure out what's going on with it. But the thing is, if the charging port is bad on this, and if I can't charge it, I can't order a new Victor Reader Trek because I'm pretty sure Humanware stopped making them. So that means I'm going to have to go do some investigation about an alternative product that does the same things.
But hopefully, it might just be your cable. And that would be a relatively easy thing.
Yeah, maybe it is just the cable. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do some investigating on it.
It's funny you would mention that. My phone's doing the same thing. You always know if the phone if it's like says charging, not charging,
or not. Yeah,
charging,
yeah.
not charging. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
dadgummit, my cable's good. And I don't even know how. I tried to baby this cable and be super nice to it and everything, and it just says, "I don't care about you. I'm tired of being your charging cable."
Oh, doesn't it seem
Dadgummit.
like these electronics go to crap really quick anymore? Like they're very poorly made.
Well, because
Girl,
they want you
I
to come back and buy more.
I know how you feel. I had a BookSense. Yes, I said it. A BookSense XT for years. I had it from like 2011 until when did that thing finally die? Dadgummit. I think it died in like 2022 or 2023.
Wow.
But I had it, yeah, and I because see, I'm the kind of guy. I do have Bard Mobile. But really, I historically have been the kind of guy. It's like when I want to read a book, I don't want to read it on my phone. I do enough on my phone as it is. Sometimes I want to just have
I feel
like a Kindle for sighted people, right? I just want to have a dedicated book reading device. Like
that's. I mean, I have Bard Mobile on my phone too, but I rarely use it. I always use my Trek, and now my Trek is down. So honestly, what I did last night is I have a lot of Audible books too. And I can listen to my Audible books through my Alexa. So I've been having her play my books. But the thing is, I'm not like, I have a lot of books on my Audible library that I bought over the years, just thinking I might enjoy reading them. And some of them are kind of like not really what I'm into anymore. Like there's this one called Daddy's Girl. And so I should tell you what it's about, right? It's like a triple X rated romance, right? And I got this thing like 10 years ago. I'm not interested in it anymore. And I also have the entire
no judgment, Becca. No judgment. Okay, people are crazy. No judgment. All right.
Yeah, and I have a lot of philosophical books, and I have a lot of like conservative political books that I've purchased over the last 10 years or so on Audible. And my books, of course, I have 5 books up on Audible too, and they're all in my library also. So
that's funny. You have your own books in your own.
No, I enjoy listening to them from time to time to look back and compare how my readings changed over time. And like I'm working on, I haven't thrown a lot of time into it yet, but I am going to be writing another book. I really.
And did you? You read your own books?
No. I have. So the girl that's read my last 3 books, I think her name is Linda. I think it's been a while since I thought of her, because she read my last she's read like my last 3 books.
Okay.
She's I go through Audible, and so I don't know if you probably have never, well, maybe you have put a book up on Audible. But what
No,
you
no,
do,
no, no. I haven't. I've thought about it actually, but I
yeah.
haven't done it.
So first you need to write the book,
Yeah,
and
first
you
you need
get
to
it
read the book.
published, and then once it's published, you can look for a narrator. And if there's a website online where you go and you like put a segment of it's called Upwork, I think. And you go up to this Upwork and you just open it like Blue Gino and I, or Blue Butterfly Enterprises, we have an account up on Upwork, right? And so whenever I'm done with another book, we just go up there. And what we've done, I mean, I want Linda to read all of my books because I really love her reading, and she's read my last 3 books now. But what we used to do before I found my favorite reader, is we'd go up to this website and you put in like a portion, like a few paragraphs of what you want, of the material you want them to read, and then different narrators, they go up, look, the ones who are looking for work, they go up and they look at the submissions people have put up there, and if looks like a job they want to take, then they record themselves reading that portion of text. So that then Gino and I went up and we listened to all the different narrators, listened to what they submitted to us, you know what I mean? And that's how we picked our narrators over the years. But like I said, Linda, when we found her, she was awesome, and so she's just read my last 3 books. Honestly, I hope she'll read this next one too, that I haven't even really started yet. I just have one sentence in it so far.
What's
But
your prospect like? What do you want to write a book about?
well, this book is going to be about the process of dealing with cortical blindness, which is the kind of blindness that I have. And the reason I'm writing it now is because I'm going through the stem cell therapy and my
Right.
vision is actually getting better. So I figure I want to document this process, but I also need to start with the story of my vision from the beginning, because it's changed a lot over the years on its own too, you know? So I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about the cool things I'm experiencing that I've been receiving the stem cell therapies. So.
And do you have somebody who edits those books? Like you take it to somebody who gives suggestions?
So I do a lot of my own editing, but once I'm done with my first draft, I do send it to, I have an editor. Her name is Johanna, and she is awesome as well. God really blessed me with a great editor, or a great editor and a great narrator for my books. Like Linda and Johanna are both really amazing women. They've helped.
Let me ask you something, Beck. If you even know, and this, very, very, very like 30,000-foot view, very ballpark, not even a specific row of bleachers in the ballpark. But I got a buddy that's written a book, like a first draft. It's like an 8-hour long book.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think he should do next, and about how much do you think it would cost to have it put out in the marketplace?
So he's written an 8-hour long book. How do you know it's 8 hours long?
Because when I loaded so on Android we have an app called Speech Central. It's kind of like Green Voice Reader, and so it says, it tells me the time.
Oh, okay.
But I keep telling him, like, I think you should at least try to get it published, like have an editor look over it, like, because I don't do that professionally.
So what is the subject matter of his book?
Oh, it's just basically autobiographical, I guess you would say.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he can self-publish, or he can contact publishing houses and submit his manuscript to them to see if they want to like buy his manuscript from him. But it's that's the traditional publishing route, and it's very hard to go that route. So most people.
Okay, so you have experience with self-publishing?
Oh yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you read my book, let's see. I actually, in my book, I think it was Still Busy Steering, there's a whole section where I give my readers my best advice on publishing their own book, and that's part of what I talk about in that chapter is like I talk about how to create your manuscript, how to get it published on self-publishing, because that's what I do, right? I talk about the self-publishing process, and I talk about and I've done it two different ways. Like with my first book, I hired a company to self-publish it for me, and it cost me an arm and a leg. But then I learned how to do it myself. So my last 4 books now, I've published myself through my company. And so I tell my readers in my book, in my last book, Still Busy Steering, in the section about writing their own book, I tell them my best advice on how to like edit their own book. I give little tips of my own, and they'll learn how to edit their own the more they study their manuscript, right? But I give them my own advice on, like, I tell them how I found my narrators, and I give them my own advice on promoting your books too. So,
Now, do you think that you said there was a considerable financial cost when you hired that company to self-publish,
right?
And really, did that make it easier, or do you not mind doing your own self-publishing?
So listen, I knew nothing about publishing a book. Honestly, I figured that you write your manuscript and you send it somewhere, and they create a cover for it and they create everything. But no, that's not it at all. You literally got to create every little piece. You got to create the manuscript, the table. The only thing that happens without you creating it is the page numbers fall in place. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like you got to write it. You got to do your own. You got to do some of your own editing. Even if you hire an editor, you should do your own editing before you send your manuscript to your editor. And then after you're done editing it, there's the publication process. And when I say publication process, as blind people, we understand there's more than just print publication. There's audio publication as well. And there's digital publication, but the digital comes right along, because once you put your manuscript up there, it's automatically available on digital pretty much. It takes some time to get the print versions out, but digital's available almost immediately. And then once you get the print versions done, then you can hire a reader to read it. It takes a little bit longer to get the audible version done, because you have to find a narrator. And then you have to, they have to read it, right? And you have to listen to each recording, because you want to listen for errors. Because believe it or not, when they're reading your manuscript, they're going to, I know from experience that there's words that they're going to mispronounce, like names of proper places, like the name of my hometown and towns near in Montana, where I grew up. Like several of those names, the narrators have mispronounced over the years. So, and because we communicate with them in writing, like Gino and I, we write words out phonetically so they know how to pronounce them, right?
Got you.
Yeah, and so there's things like that you have to do with your narrator to get it just perfect. And then there's times when the pauses aren't right, or there have been times when we listen to the recording, we'll notice that she started talking before the recording started. So when you hear her start talking, she's actually in the middle of a sentence or something, right? So we have to have her fix that. But another thing that she does, so I'm telling you, so I have, like I said, Linda, my narrator, and Joanna, my editor, are both really awesome. But another thing Linda does for me, I can make requests to her, right? With my last couple of books, when she narrated them, my last book especially, I had her add some really cool music into the audio version, and she put these sound effects in. There's a chime, a really cool chime that the listeners hear at the end of each chapter. And there's, like I said, music at each beginning of each chapter too. And then also, if you buy the audible version of my most recent book, Living on Borrowed Time, there's a shout out from yours truly at the end of the book, talking to my readers about the material.
You're getting fancy. We're
getting very fancy. Yeah.
That's good though. That's good.
I have a question, Becca.
What?
So how come none of your books, to my knowledge, are on Bard or on Bookshare?
Okay, I tried to get my first book on Bard, and they told me that they didn't want to record it. This was when I was living up in Montana. And Bookshare is just for textbooks, for what I understand. So I haven't submitted anything to Bookshare. So because Bard turned me down on my first book, I just put them all up on Audible. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I already have it all. Like if you go up to Amazon, which is also like Amazon/Audible, and like punch in Rebecca Meadows author, it just pulls up my whole author page, and right there you can see all of my books. You can see people's reviews of my books. You can see like and you can listen to excerpts of the Audible versions of the books. I think sighted people can probably also read versions, like segments of the book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Um,
I think you could reach a wider audience. I mean, I don't know what your goal is to make
well,
more sales or just to spread the
how do
word,
you
so to speak.
how do you think I can make more sales? What are your ideas to spread the word?
No, no, no. I was saying like, depending what your goal is, to make more sales, which would be the way you are doing it, like having
Right.
Audible and Amazon. But if you want to spread the word, just to tell your story, you might want to contact Bookshare and Bard again, because there are a lot of blind people read those, use those platforms. I mean,
Yeah,
Audible too, but you
I
know.
know that, but I went through Bard when I was in Montana. And the thing is, instead of talking to actually Bard, because Bard I think is national, I just called the Talking Book Library in Helena, right? Helena,
Mm-hmm.
Montana, because that was the state capital of Montana where I used to live.
Well, now you're in
So
Arizona. You could contact the Arizona one, right?
yeah, I could do that. But I have a lot of quote unquote contacting I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, like, I want to get on some talk shows to talk about my books. Um, and shit, like stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, now let me ask you this: what if, um, just for a broader reach, what if you say took one of your books that's already done,
uh
and you just said, hey, I want to put this on. You don't have. It's already It's already here. It's done. It's done. It's complete. It's finalized. You
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
do anything. I just want to make it available in your catalog. Will you do that? I wonder if they would do that. I
Well,
absolutely think that Bookshare would do it, because Bookshare is very cool like that, But that's
oh,
some
I
people kind of
wonder.
complain because not all the text is exactly publisher grade or
Yeah,
publisher quality.
right. And I've
But
tried to
Bookshare contends, like, would you rather have something or nothing at all? Like, and so I really like that.
well, yeah, but so here's the thing. Bookshare, I couldn't put the audio recording that, like, I paid to have each of my books recorded for Audible, right? Like I can't
Uh-huh.
just put those recordings up on Bookshare because Bookshare is not Audible
Oh,
files.
no, but
It's
you have
digital.
but you have the written form of it though,
The
right?
text, you have the
Right,
text.
right. Yeah, like and Gino and I have the digital files, and we could probably contact Bookshare and offer them to them at no charge and make them available. I just don't know how to do that because I'm not even on. I've been on Bookshare like once years ago, and I didn't really use it because I didn't find anything on it that really met what I was needing. So.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I think you
got
should
you.
do that. I think
No,
you should do
I
that.
really don't like. I really don't know how to contact Bookshare about it. Honestly, that's something Gino and I can work on. But we got a lot on our plates right now because, like, later this month we've got Don't Look Now is screening at the
Absolutely.
Chandler International
Yeah.
Film Festival on the 25th,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and plus that's my anniversary day, so I'm going to be having a party that night probably. Um,
Anniversary of what?
Hey.
but
What kind of anniversary?
So on this is going to be January 25th later this month, right? Well, on January 25th, 2012, that's the day I escaped from that 15-year-long guardianship I was locked under in Montana. And so I celebrate that year and I memorialize it as like an Independence Day of my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like and just like any prisoner who's wrongfully convicted and then released from prison, like I celebrate, I'm thankful every day for my freedom and I celebrate my freedom, right? And I do that by living my life to the fullest and not letting anybody stop me from pursuing my dreams, and
Mm-hmm.
I promised myself when I got out of that guardianship that I was going to do that every day for the rest of my life, that I was going to live my life to the fullest and pursue my dreams because of all the years I was denied that ability. Um, and that's why we're here, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, have you ever? This is audacious, right? This is an audacious goal. This is a very, ambitious goal. But have you ever thought about reaching out to Britney Spears?
Honestly, I have. And Gino and I need to spend some time doing some research, figuring out how to reach out to her. Because if Britney Spears and I teamed up, oh my goodness, I think we could do some amazing things together. Just because
she got out of what she called conservatorship that she felt was not right.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll be right back, and then we'll continue this conversation.
Sounds good.
Why don't they have blind people sections at sporting events? Why do I gotta pay the same price to not see shit? Okay? The Jumbotron ain't even built for me.
I am the business manager here at the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
I see you brought the film crew. Make sure you get my good side.
All right, settle down and get focused on your tasks.
I teach the art of cuisine, child.
You wanna know what the problem, the biggest problem in the blind community? It's you sighted people.
Just take a look over here.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, man.
Okay, you all need to turn off those cameras and just leave the building.
Wait, Joe, hold on.
Oh, on your right.
You're on the right.
How would you know that the men you're dating are black?
No, this is not card member services. This is the Visually Impaired School of Arizona.
Gigi, where are his pants?
I don't know.
Billy doesn't work here. He basically came with the building.
I can be the very first mayor of Blind Sylvania.
Make blind America great again.
There goes my pie.
This happens every day?
No,
Sometimes.
of course not.
And we're back.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys come to the Chandler International Film Festival on January 25th to watch that show, you're treated because I had a speaking part in it.
Oh.
And it's a great show. I mean, this is just the pilot episode, but we've got like a whole Bible written out of some really great episodes.
It seems so humorous.
I'm gonna stop talking about that because
let's see. How many times have I saw that commercial? But it seems so humorous. I'm hoping it does really well, you guys.
What's humor? What do you find humorous about it, Brandon?
It's just,
the whole thing is a comedy.
No, I know, but it's like it's always the part where are his pants? It's like, oh.
Well, so Brandon, you live right here in Phoenix, so do you want to come to Chandler International Film Festival on the 25th and watch the whole thing? It's only a 30-minute long thing, but you and your family could come,
Yeah, I need to see. Do you know by chance what day? It's the 25th.
It's a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay, I'll have to see. So let me not commit right here and now, but I will get in touch with you though as we go through.
Yeah.
It's just because my father is thinking of coming out, and maybe my mom, and I don't know. But let me.
Well, the more the merrier. Like, we want as many people to see it as possible. So if you want to invite your wife and your parents, heck, even your kids, just let us know how many tickets we need to buy for you guys, okay? Because as the hosts of the show, as the film creators, we need the head count,
And I like the Billy doesn't work here.
Oh my gosh, the Billy character is really amazing. I really hope you can make it to the film festival on the 25th and watch it, Brandon.
And then there's I teach the art of cuisine. Oh my goodness. It's just the whole thing seems so funny.
I know Gino is a masterful writer, and he wrote the script, and he actually made himself part of the blind community for several years and participated in not only state NFB conventions, but more than one national NFB convention. He went and participated, and he even participated in a little bit of what is it called? Blind immersion training.
Non-visual training,
Yeah, he even did some of the blind immersion training. Him and our lead actor both did. And I honestly, I think Jamie, who is one of our producers, Jamie is partially sighted anyway, but or Jamie already has visual problems, but I think he might have went in for the total blindness training too. I'm not sure, but I know Gino did for sure, and Michael, our head actor, they went in for the training, and I was really touched at their dedication to the project. It turned out to be a great project, and because it turned out so great, and because we worked so hard on it, I would really appreciate it if people would show up at the Chandler International Film Festival on January 25th to show your support for us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Why not? Right? Go see
Yeah.
a screening and then, spend some
Oh,
time
yeah.
in Chandler. And yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and Gino and I will be on hand. Maybe some of the actors might be on hand, whatever. So, yeah, please be there if you can be. We'd love to have you.
Well, and the one, I don't know if I've said this, so if I have, I apologize for repeating, but the one thing that I want people to know is that, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm just talking for myself here, but blind people are just as different and just as unique as all the rest of you. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
we are absolutely not all the same. Well, so many people think like there's all those things. Oh, all blind people can fix pianos. No, we can't. I'm not trained to do that. And I'm blind. All blind people are good singers. No.
Well, and Brandon, I'm
They're
glad
not.
you
Trust me. I am a decent singer. I've been told that by Brett Manning. And not all blind people are good singers.
I'm glad you bring that up because can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm glad you bring that up, Brandon, because honestly, the differences and the uniqueness of the blind community is a big part of what Gino and I plan on teaching through our show, Don't Look Now. You know what I mean? Because we are all so awesome, and the world misses out on a lot of it because they just see us walking around with our canes and doing things, but they don't know how we do them. And a lot of people are hesitant to approach us, So I really I hope that through the show Don't Look Now that we can make the blind community a little bit, I guess, more warm and fuzzy to the general public, so they'll be more comfortable approaching us when they see us on the streets. And they'll understand about these blind immersion training centers that we have available to us, which is what the show is focused on. So yeah, Gino and I have a lot of high hopes for the show because there's so much great potential with the show to further the cause of the blind, through education. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah, I absolutely do.
So
I just think I'm very excited, as I've said, about this year. And for example, yesterday I'll just point out that President-elect Trump was with I apologize, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but definitely I think a high-ranking representative from the company SoftBank, which is a Japanese telecommunications company. But they're gonna, work together, the president-elect and SoftBank, to bring a lot of money into America by building data centers. Can a blind person work in a data center? Yes, absolutely. I've done it.
Yeah, so that'll bring a lot more jobs out, make more jobs available for the blind too. Anyway, another thing I wanted to mention about our show Don't Look Now that's going to be at the film festival on the 25th. This show has won awards in other film festivals in the last several months. So it's a great show. So I really encourage people to check it out. You can also go to don'tlooknowtvofficial.com for more information.
I got you. And I watched the Golden Globes the other night. And apparently it's possible, I didn't know this until that time, but apparently it's possible to create a TV series or a movie, film that makes a lot of money but does not necessarily get nominated for the Golden Globes. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. So wouldn't it be nice to have both? That'd be nice, right? But,
oh yeah.
But there was an actress that gave a pretty cool speech about that. So
yeah, the TV movie industry is really funny. People think that movie stars make a lot of money. Well, the really famous ones do. Like for the really famous ones, like, I don't know, Demi Moore and and who was it that played on Harrison Ford, and some of those people, they cost an arm and a leg. But most actors and actresses, it's like a few $100s a day. You pay them a daily rate when they're on the set.
Uh-huh.
And you have to, I mean, there's lots of other things you have to take into consideration. I was the executive producer on the project, so I understand the things that go into making film and TV. Which reminds me, in May we're going to be going into production on our next project, which is a horror movie. So I hope our viewers will stay tuned for more information on that as it rolls out.
Oh, I absolutely will, because that's one of my favorite genres, actually, horror and suspense. And
But how much time does it normally take to shoot a movie? Like,
okay, so after the script is written, there's a lot of steps that our crew goes through to break it down. Like, they break down each scene, and there's different parts of, like, they break down each scene into different things. For example, like, where does a scene need to be filmed? Like, for example, when we filmed Invasion, like, there were several different scenes, and they didn't film the scenes in order. What they do is they look at all the scenes, and they look at different things, like how long each scene is going to take, and where in the set that you're going to film. Like, if you're filming in a house, you don't want to have to keep moving your cameras and stuff to different rooms, because you don't want to shoot some stuff in the living room and then move to the kitchen and then move upstairs to the bedroom and then move back down to the living room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need to plan it. And so they once the script is done, then they go through each, like, scene, I guess, scene by scene, and they map it all out. Gino and Reinhardt, and there's, like, Jamie, and there's, like, probably 2 or 3 other guys too that I'm just reaching for their names, right? Who have helped us with projects in the past, like helped us on Don't Look Now, and who are also going to be working with us on the horror movie in May, right? Like, there's a lot of steps, but it's really an interesting process making a TV or movie, right? Because of, like, so this Don't Look Now that we just filmed, it's a 30-minute thing, right? But the months of planning that went into it, and the days of filming, I think it took us 5 days to film this 30-minute pilot. And our schedule for filming our horror movie in May, I believe it's a 5-week, like a 20-day, because we film like Monday through Friday, like I think it's a 4 or 5 week schedule that we have for the horror movie that we're filming in May.
Is it going to be in Arizona, or are you guys traveling somewhere?
Well, we're not going to, we're talking about filming the horror movie possibly in Texas. You know what I mean? Or maybe New Mexico again. But to see, these are the things that go into pre-production and pre-planning of a show. You got to get all of these things figured out. Oh, and it amazes me, like, they don't cut any corners when it comes to the budget. Like, they know down to down to the dime where everything is going, right? Like there's so much allocated for food for the actors and the crew each day on the set, right? There's so much allocated for transportation costs. There's so much allocated for housing costs, because we have to put the actors and actresses up in a hotel while we're filming, and so it's like the filmmaking industry. People don't really think about it when they watch, like, a 30-minute sitcom or a 2 or 3 hour movie or a series. I don't think people really think about all the work that goes into that brief period of time when they're actually viewing a project.
I can totally imagine that. It's very easy. I mean, when I was making a long time ago, when I was making a little short video talking about my English classes back in the day when I was tutoring, and I was trying to put up some video online, and it took us the entire day because I was not happy. I either screwed up the text, or the lighting was poor, or something, something, something. So we had to do it over and over. Of course, we're not professionals. Professionals do it faster and more efficiently. But still, I mean, it just kind of gives me a gist, gives me an idea that it's not as easy as it may seem.
Yeah, and so there's the actual production, like the 4 or 5 weeks we're going to spend in May with the filming of it. But once it gets filmed, then there's the post-production stuff, right? Like we create music, because you add music in that. It really surprised me. Like when we first filmed Don't Look Now and we watched it, it was okay. It was funny. But once we added the music in, it really brought it to life. And the same with our other project, Invasion, that nobody's seen yet. Alexa, stop.
What are those projects you've been talking about?
Well, I wanted to talk about this a little bit more.
Well, maybe you can bring it back up on the next show. Keep people in suspense.
Okay, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we'll have to say that for the next show. I guess Gino decided the show's over.
You sounded so deflated, Becca.
Becca, we don't need to end the show. If everybody wants to stick around for a little bit longer, we can keep going.
Okay.
I know it's very exciting talking about our projects.
Yeah, it is really exciting. But I wanted to. Are we still alive?
Yeah, we're alive.
Okay, well, good. I wanted to talk about the color correction that goes into post-production.
Well, can I just ask you guys, do you enjoy it? Because I can tell you, as a former recording artist, I enjoy studio time. Yeah. And then like our live shows were never anything super, super spectacular because we were only like regionally successful. But I really enjoy being in the studio, and yeah, it does take a while, but that's because you want to get, that perfect sound or that perfect shot or that. Like you want it to be exactly how you want it to be, but it's not always about like discipline. I mean, it is, but it's also kind of fun. Like I don't know. I enjoy creative pursuits.
So guys, listen, another thing I was just thinking about. So when we were in production for Don't Look Now, I had a part in the project, but my part was really small. So I spent a lot of time just hanging out at the set, right? Or hanging out at the hotel, but I liked hanging out on the set too. But there were times when I'd be like walking behind the curtain, right? And they'd be on the other side of the curtain. People be reading their line, or not reading, but saying their lines and stuff, right? And they'd be filming. And I would bust up laughing because the dialogue was so funny. And there were other members of the cast and crew who had the same problem occasionally, So I really hope
probably drove the directors crazy.
Well, I just
do it again. Do it again.
I just know there was more than one time when I was like trying to muffle my giggles, and more than one time when I was one of the people who was shushed, So
yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, Becca.
It's a lot of fun being on production. It really is. It's a lot of fun being on the set. Kind of boring being stuck in the hotel room, honestly. I think this time I'm going to take my laptop with me and plan on writing when I'm stuck in the hotel room, So, but my boyfriend might come with me when we go on production in May. So,
well,
I've been cast recently as the voice of a villain in a video game, and
really,
they want me to record the sounds. And so sometimes, I'll record something and then I'll get a notification on my phone or my Echo will go. It's like, that got it. Okay, I'm gonna have to re-record that. Oh well, that's okay. I'll re-record it and it'll be better this time.
Did you say you do the voice of a villain on a show?
Yeah. Somebody wants me to be the voice of a villain, and so I'm like, okay, all right, that's.
Are you gonna go for it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I already am. Yeah, I've been recording this week.
Oh, that's cool. You have to let me
I don't know. I don't know what'll happen with it, but again, I'm having fun in the creative process, though.
It is cool, isn't it? Yeah, I never thought about doing anything like that. Oh, I always wanted to make a movie out of my first book, but I never thought I'd be able to. And so opening my company, and we haven't made the Blue Butterfly yet because it's such a big project. We need more money for that. But these other projects we've been doing have been so much fun. Like I'm learning so much, and I really feel good about myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, I do, and I don't mean to discount the work, all of the hard
Right.
work and time that goes into it, because
Right.
ultimately, you do want it to be a certain way.
Yeah, Gino and I are producing really good stuff. Like we have a script called, well, maybe I should. Gino, am I allowed to talk about the scripts? Like his scripts have been
No,
his
you
scripts
can't.
have been winning awards. His
Yeah,
scripts
you
have been
can't.
winning awards.
You can. I mean, you can talk about Blue Butterfly because that's based on your life. I mean,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but where are all those? I mean, I still didn't get the end. Okay, so you say those projects, but is there a way to see them? Like, where are they
Well,
available
they're
for
not
public?
publicly available because
Like if they will be like so. Because we've produced Don't Look Now, people can literally see that, and because we've produced Invasion, people can literally see that. But we
when it's
have
finally done, we're
we
still in
have
post-production.
we have a couple we have several movies and TV shows that we have all written out. We just work like I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to produce on my own. That's why we're looking for potential fellow investors to come on board. So, but that's how this industry works. Is like people don't usually do stuff on their own, right? Like nobody would make a whole season of a sitcom all on their own. So we're just waiting, looking for investors, and that's why we have like our show Don't Look Now making the film festival circuit, and we're working on getting Invasion out there too. And then once we get our horror movie done, we're going to get that out on the circuit. And our hope is that with all these different projects out there, some potential investors are going to see what we're doing, and they're going to come along and help us make the Blue Butterfly, which is our biggest project, and some of these other projects that aren't as big as Blue Butterfly, but they're projects we put on the back burner, and we're making, like, the money we've focused on more, like, we've tried to get the best bang for our buck. You know what I mean? We looked at the projects we had written out and said, okay, so this project and this project, these ones we want to produce first. You know what I mean? To get our names out there a little bit, get some reputation. And so, yeah, our first project was Invasion, and that was the smallest project. And then Don't Look Now was a bit bigger. It was about, I don't know, maybe 3 times this. I think so actually, the budget of Invasion was $9,000. The budget for Don't Look Now was $150,000, right? And then we have a budget for the horror movie. So
yeah,
can you guys hear me?
Oh,
yeah.
You probably don't want to go too much into more specifics.
Okay.
Our budget is going to change, and
right, yeah.
Well,
so,
and I'll just tell you guys, don't feel bad. I just got to tell you guys, I'm super, impressed and happy for you guys. And I mean, I'm hoping that you guys can find that blend, right? That magic where you don't have to spend $1 million, but you might make multiple $1 million,
Right.
So I don't know anything about that.
So,
I've never worked in film or movies. I don't know anything about that, but I mean, I don't. Hollywood's not doing too good these days.
Yeah. Well, let me
stories and.
Yeah. So let me tell you, the size of the budget really doesn't reflect the quality of the production, the final piece, right? Because Gino is a very talented writer and a very talented director. And so just because these budgets may be on the low end, don't think that reflects on the quality of the final project. Because, like, as you guys can see from that little 70-second clip of Don't Look Now, like, I think it's clear to our viewers, if they watch that clip, that the quality of the directing on the film or on the show, and the, like, the film crew that we had a really good crew when we did Don't Look Now, right? And so if people will watch it, they'll see that we have really great talent here, and we have a really important message in Don't Look Now, as we do in several of our projects, honestly. But I just encourage our viewers to, like, go to Don't Look Now TV official and watch the trailer. And if you're in the neighborhood, please stop by the Chandler International Film Festival on January 25th and check out the project in whole. I think there's like I think a ticket for the film festival is like $10 or $15. I don't remember what Gino said it was, but
not bad at all.
And I don't know. maybe Gino can pop back in and tell us if the tickets are available at the door of the film
Yeah,
festival. Or if you have
it's
to order.
$15, but it may already be sold out by now.
Oh, you think it might already be
Yeah, we
sold
had
out?
yeah, because there's a lot of people pre-selling for their projects to get people in
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay, yeah.
Now, can you tell us, Becca, is that that venue, where you're going to be presenting, is it, pretty easy to get to if people are taking public transportation, or not really?
Oh, it's easy to get to. Like, Gino, do you know the address? It's right here in Chandler. Like, you just take a lift to get there.
It's going
or
to be
someone drive
downtown
you.
Chandler. We're not screening the one with audio description. This is going to be just the main normal version. I don't know if their theater actually has audio description.
We have like 2 digital versions. We have the version with and without audio description, which is why we're able to show the one with audio description wherever we want. We showed it in Orlando in July. I think we showed it maybe we didn't show it at the state convention. But we can set up a screening of the whole thing for anybody with or without audio description, because it's simply choosing one file versus the other.
Well, no. Right? But I'm saying, like, if somebody was taking the bus or the light rail or something, is the venue near any bus stops or light rail stations? Or
it is. It's in downtown Chandler, so there's
it's in downtown Chandler.
Access.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just know because blind people don't drive. Okay.
All right. So, yeah.
That's not true. You can take the. I thought you owned a self-driving Tesla.
No. And as a blind person, I wouldn't. So I'm not going to give away too much inside baseball here, guys. But look, my wife works for Waymo, and Waymo actually, factually, categorically is a lot safer than a Tesla. I wouldn't waste the money right now. I really wouldn't.
Well, do Teslas have self-driving cars or just electric cars?
Well, I mean, they have a mode.
They They have a self-driving mode. You have to pay for it.
Well, and in Elon's limited defense, I mean, I really wish that he would employ blind people. Elon, if you hear this, come on. I'm sure I can do something.
Elon and Trump are both so smart. I'm sure if they were to meet a blind person, a blind person who's like capable, who's out.
But I think it'll get better.
I'm sure they would be open to the idea of using blind people in their projects, because I've been so amazed since I joined the National Federation of the Blind in, let's see, what year was it now? I think it was 2014. Yeah, it's 2014 I joined the National Federation of the Blind. And I have to tell you, I've learned so much about the abilities of not just myself, but of all of us, right? And I think if someone like President Trump or Elon Musk were to meet one or two of us and visit with us for a little bit, I think they would be very open to using blind Americans in the White House, or Elon using in his company. You know what I mean? Because blind people are very capable, and with the proper technology, which is very available, we can do anything. You know what I mean? Pretty much.
I mean, how do we know? Maybe they already have some people who. Disability who already work in their.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Elon Musk already has some blind people on his payroll.
Well, guys, didn't you hear that he fired the whole accessibility department when he bought Twitter and renamed it X? I mean,
well, he probably fired
it. Discussion here.
But I hear people say nothing has changed much. I mean, he fired a lot of lazy besters who had yoga rooms and some. So many unnecessary things that they weren't just doing much. They are just moderating content and policing free speech and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm not a big X user, honestly. I don't like this platform. I never have, with or without Musk. But I don't know. Everybody says, "Oh, he fired accessibility team." Well, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe he'll pick back up. But I hear from people that it has not changed much.
So I'm very pro Musk. Don't get me wrong, but I just know though that right now Teslas visually do not perceive everything that Waymo cars do. They just simply don't. So I hope they will. I hope that they will. I hope it gets better. But I mean, a lot of blind people get around on buses and light rails and stuff like that, you know. So I just wondered if the venue was close to a bus. But it sounds like, yeah, it is. Probably what, a 10-minute walk from a bus stop or a light rail station.
Okay. Hello?
Well, Beck, do you want to wrap up? Oh, Beck, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to wrap up
There
the
you
show?
go.
Hi. Okay. Well, so you guys are done talking. This has been a great conversation. Are you guys done? Ready for me to wrap up the show?
Sounds good.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening for this exciting episode of The Blind View. I'm your host, Rebecca S. Meadows. You can email me directly at beccameadows76@gmail.com. And please go check out don'tlooknowtvofficial.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. Peace out. That's a wrap. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.